Uh, um, we've been talking so many times about thoughts creating the atmosphere. I have not only covered regarding the thoughts and its effects on many occasions, but I have also made an article on it. I have written about thoughts and its influence on the place and the people. So, thoughts create the atmosphere. To retain the atmosphere, we must control thoughts. The influence of thoughts on the place and the people will always determine the environment. The people who inhabit the place become responsible in creating the environment. If we breed good thoughts, it will give rise to good environment. Otherwise, it will have its own impact accordingly. The places where people with common object inhabit, the collective exhalations of thought waves from their bodies spread themselves and create an influential atmosphere of high potency. Like electricity and sound, thoughts are also creative energy. When we think, we always let out subtle magnetic waves, which may also be termed as aura. Identical thought waves collect together and form an atmosphere, fine or foul, depending on thoughts formed at the time. Similar to sounds, thought waves also remain in the outer space for quite some time. And they need to be fed by similar thought waves for its sustenance and preservation. Counter thoughts can always pollute, neutralize, or even destroy the vibrations in the atmosphere. As we all know, every place has its own atmosphere depending upon the surroundings and the type of thought waves released there. It is to our observation that, for instance, sick persons' hopeful thoughts of complete recovery or restoration to health, augmented with doctors' confidence of sure and successful cure of their patients, surcharge the outer space in the hospitals with the curative vibrations, making them the most suitable places for medical treatment. It is also because of the melancholic thought wave deposits, the atmosphere and the cemeteries and cremation sites is highly depressing, and the forests where fierce animals live, the atmosphere is always panicky and terrorizing. Pilgrimage or places of worship where people in mass congregate regularly with the common purpose of meditating and praying are conducive for pursuits promoting peace. The places where great saints have lived performing penances still enjoy the unique atmosphere where spiritual practices prove very productive. While it is certainly true that a pure-hearted person with strong willpower can create the right or requisite atmosphere at any time and the place through his rich thought currents, showing clearly the capacity in molding the environment and the mind of the people near him. We, immature beings in the vast majority, need and look for ready field for inner evolution and the success of our undertakings. Ordinarily, the atmospheric influence reacts upon us in the measure of our receptivity. It all depends on how we think and conduct our lives. It is no wonder that the information related to certain places is stored in the form of riches, we call as riches, or atmospheric thought deposits of events which might have taken place during the tenure of our lives, which only a competent person of saintly nature can read if required or when it becomes necessary. And it's also learned that some saints could also draw down the condition to recreate and exhibit the existence of such atmosphere in ancient times. Only when the divine atmosphere is created, then we will really enjoy it. And such atmosphere is unique. It has a special quality about it to bring about the transformation in person's attitude. Really speaking, our duty is to leave the world at least as we found it when we came into it, and not to spoil and destroy it. Right living becomes very, very important, so that we may tune our lives in such a way that everything coming in contact with us is improved. Everything we touch must get divinized. Whatever we touch must get divinized. But in certain places, the spatial vibrations are so powerful that those coming in its proximity are at once overwhelmed and subjugated. See, the sadhakas, or the students who are practicing spirituality, or disciples who have made yoga their panchang, who has got a panchang for practicing meditation and the like discipline, or advised to set apart a room especially for their spiritual practices. The concept or the idea behind this is to keep the atmosphere pure and uncontaminated and not affected by normal life activities. It is to only to retain the holy atmosphere so that it expands to the ultimate dimension of a pure and holy universe, where the whole universe becomes a prayer room eventually. It will be a matter of no surprise as you all progress spiritually, you start emitting, radiating positive divine energy as you develop on the spiritual path, which will influence and enable others to tread on the path and to emulate, to retain the effects of such deposits to posterity and for understanding the reality. Thank you.